Well, at least I was. I changed my name to Irep.
Well, this doesn't make me feel old, it just makes me feel weird. Anti-Fairies have finally made their move in Fairly OddParents A New Wish, with the grand reintroduction of Anti-Poof, aka Foop, aka Irep. A name change we all expected after Poof changed his name to Peri, because who the hell wants to be named after the first word they said? I'm gonna give you the skinny on everything we know about Irep so far, and how his presence sets the stage for the end of the season. Things are about to get wacky. And real quick, Cosmo, Wanda, I wish that whoever's watching enjoys the video, and that if they do, they throw it a like and subscribe to the channel so they stay in the loop with all of our cartoon content. With all that said, let's dive in. Irep debuts in the episode Best of Luck, where Dev, still keeping his distance from Hazel after learning about Project H, is starting to get real tired of having Peri as his fairy godparent. He's over the rules getting in the way of all the wishes he wants to make, and that Peri is such a goody two-shoes. Peri said he'd take it from Dev to divine, but he's not feeling very divine. I said it before, but it really feels like Dev embodies all of Timmy's selfish desires and impulsive tendencies, while Hazel embodies his kind heart and limitless imagination. Dev's starting to really envy Hazel and the fact that she has two fairy godparents. He's starting to blame all of his problems on the fact that he only has one fairy, and he resents Hazel for honestly just being happy, associating that happiness with Cosmo and Wanda, while also associating his misery and loneliness with Peri, even though he was already miserable before because his dad's a dickbag, but okay. Dev and Peri get into a fight after Dev accuses him of not doing anything cool because he's a law-abiding fairy, and this disagreement ends with the two calling it quits. Aw, Dev, you hurt Peri's feelings. That's not cool, man. When a fairy calls it quits, any magical being can take the gig, so Irep swoops in the literal second that Peri leaves, mirroring Peri's introduction from a few episodes ago. Irep's design contrasts Peri's suave car salesman look by going for a more bad boy vibe. He kinda looks like Voltaire, not gonna lie. Shout out to my Billy and Mandy fans. Apparently he only changed his name because Peri did, and it doesn't even sound like bro had much of a choice. He honestly seems pretty mad about it.
It's Irep now, thanks to your irritating son's name change, and it's much less easy to say, might I add.
Irep wears a skull shirt under his long sleeve, which has a popped collar and spike cuffs or bracelets. His pompadour seems like an inversion of Peri's, but without the resemblance to Cosmo and Wanda's hair. But Irep's most notable feature by far is that he still retains his cube-shaped head, despite the fact that Peri grew into a normal fairy body instead of being shaped like a spear. Honestly though, I think in the back of my mind, I wanted him to keep his cube head, and they absolutely delivered. Personality-wise, he hasn't really changed much from the original series, which is by design. Irep is exactly the kind of fairy that Dev wants right now. Someone who's down to break all the rules and grant whatever wish his heart desires. Side note, this episode is genuinely really funny.
I can't believe how much time I wasted with Peri. You are so much better.
That's all I've ever wanted to hear.
I know a lot of you are keeping tabs on this series through these videos now, since for whatever reason they're not putting the series on streaming until it airs on cable, which barely anyone has anymore. But trust me, this is far from a substitution for the real deal. To get the best sense for the show's writing, its tone, comedy, characters, and especially its art direction, please watch the show itself when you get the chance. It's such a charming series in every single aspect, and they definitely hit their stride in the back half of the season. Now, Anti-Fairies specialize in bad luck, something that the original series only really utilized in their first episode. But it's integral here, as Dev wishes for Hazel to have bad luck, jinxing his rival turned friend turned back to one-sided rival. She's tripping on magic banana peels? A dog eats her homework! The bad luck is even interfering with Cosmo and Wanda's magic. It's a rough time for Hazel, and it's the last thing she needs, as she's competing in the big rock, paper, scissors tournament, a concept that I really adore the execution of, as the show embraces its cartoony nature and incorporates a shit ton of things that aren't rock, paper, or scissors. It practically looks like an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! How do I play this version of the game? Dev not only cheats his way to victory, but he starts to have a meltdown when winning the tournament doesn't really faze Hazel, because she just has good sportsmanship. Through this tantrum, he lets it slip that he used magic to win, causing Irep to reveal himself to the gang, and it isn't too long before they're brawling. But like, all of this is happening in broad daylight, right outside the school. The fairies are just out in the open. We even see that kids are watching. Jorgen does arrive and undo all of Irep's wishes, so maybe all the witnesses just got memory wiped, but if not, I want to say that this will come back to bite Cosmo and Wanda in the ass. The show has been setting up Dev Dimmadome finding out about Fairy World, presumably so he can try to take it over and incorporate it into his empire. And we also have characters like AJ and Crocker dabbling in fairy hunting technology. If this ends up being something that witnesses, not shown in this episode, captured on video, like Dale, someone who we know is stalking Hazel, then Cosmo and Wanda might find themselves going up against bigger threats in the future, should the show get more seasons. Imagine if this gets out to the government. Could you imagine fairies versus the government? It would be insane to see! Anyways, Jorgen puts a stop to Irep's rampage and asserts that since Peri never put in his 2 weeks, Irep can't assume his role as godparent, so he's dismissed.
There is no force in the universe more powerful than fairy world human resources.
Hazel tries to make amends with Dev and extends an olive branch towards him, but he immediately shuts down the whole caring and understanding routine and pushes Hazel away. As he leaves the premises, he asks his AI bots, the au pairs, to find everything there is to know about anti-fairies, implying that he's going to go behind Jorgen's back and seek them out himself to get what he wants. Which means that Anti-Cosmo and Anti-Wanda are right around the corner. I can't wait to see what they've been up to. And okay, look, I'm not gonna harp on it because it's a cartoon, but what the hell is AI gonna know about anti-fairies when it's pulling from a non-magical database? Unless he wishes for the AI bots to have magic knowledge in the following episodes, which would track, but right now, I'm pretty skeptical. I honestly never expected the Fairly OddParents of all franchises to have me engrossed in an ongoing story, but I really want to see where this goes. It really feels like things are reaching a boiling point. Also, assuming there's some Infinity Train fans in the house, you guys definitely see the similarities between Hazel and Dev and Grace and Simon, right? I already said it before, but I'm incapable of watching this series without having Infinity Train in the back of my mind, since one of the showrunners was a writer on the Cartoon Network series. And it's getting really hard to ignore. Grace and Simon were trapped on the Infinity Train and misunderstood that the train was supposed to enable positive change and growth through the trials in each train car, instead believing that the train belonged to them. It's meant to cater to their every whim because they were chosen for it, and that the numbers on their hands were meant to go up, not down, which results in them starting a cult on the train named the Apex. Grace slowly realizes the error of her ways and deviates from the Apex, but Simon triples down and only gets worse as the season progresses. And here in A New Wish, instead of the train, there's fairies. And instead of believing the train belongs to them and that they don't have to follow any rules, Dev just simply wants to break the rules while still believing he's entitled to greatness, that he was chosen for something that none of his other peers have, save for Hazel. And much like how Simon ended up taking complete control of the Apex, influencing them to be the worst versions of themselves, Dev is now seeking out the Anti-Fairies, who I could see loving Dev and abiding by his every command, giving him his own little cult of anti-fairies. What really drove home these similarities for me was when Dev got upset that Hazel wasn't crushed over the tournament. She wasn't behaving the way he wanted her to, which was an issue between Simon and Grace. Once she was no longer behaving the way he expected her to, he started to melt down and throw a tantrum. And if you think any of this is a reach, Dev and Simon had the same voice actor, so I choose to cope and hide behind that to justify talking about a cartoon that got canceled 3 years ago. But as always, these are just my thoughts and I'd love to hear yours. Do you like Irep's design? Do you have any theories on what Dev's master plan will be? Let us know in the comments below and keep the conversation going at AwestruckFox and at Roundtable Vids. If you enjoyed this video, please sort to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. Peace!